Good evening, everybody. So we are starting with the live session related to the poem "The Night Mail." Actually, half of the portion was already done, and half of the poem was left to be done. So we will look at that. Just a minute. Let me share the screen. Yeah, I hope you can see the screen of my mobile phone so that we can come to the point like where we have to actually study. So we are back. So what I'm going to do actually is we are going to revise something about the previous done material so that we may get a glimpse of what we have actually completed, and what are we actually going to discuss about. So as far as the poem is concerned, as I mentioned before, that the name of the title is Night Mail. The Night Mail, you consider. W.H. Auden is the author of the ones like same poem. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to actually scroll through the first stanza because we have done that first one, second one, whatever. After whatever we have done, we will just skip through that so that we may come to the point where we need to actually start our like basic theme of the poem. I already explored through, explained actually within 1 hour. I explained that like first 8 lines. I believe you may get the maximum information through that itself, and rest of the thing is you have to actually know about like the meaning of the lines, and a paraphrase in your own way as well. uh, what else? The night mail, I mentioned that there is a certain kind of aura we created. I created the PPT, and in the PPT I showed you the way the night mail goes. Okay, so the night mail is crossing the border. We will come to the point straight to it. Like this is like for the first 4 lines. We will just read through that. This is the night mail crossing the border, bringing the check and the postal order. Letters for the rich and the letters for the poor. The shop at the corner, the girl next door. The, like four and door, that kind of symphony was created. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of the line? Like the night mail train is crossing the border, crosses a border, carrying important mail and letters for people from all the walks of life, from different categories of the people, for the different categories of the people, sorry. So from wealthy people, rich people who have a lot of money, to the poor people who do not have their tents also. Okay. And for the corner shop, from the corner shop, to the girl next door. So uh, from different destination to different destination, the letters are being taken and being given away. Okay, now next lines. What are those? Pulling up BTOC, steady climb, which had a very deep meaning, as I explained about these lines, which are a very deep meaning. Okay, the gradients against her, but she's on time. That means I compared it with the life of the human beings. Okay, so past cotton grass and moorland boulder, shoveling white steam over her shoulder, snorting noisily as she passes, silent miles of wind-bent grasses. And I explained through these lines also actually. We'll just go through that. Mm, just a minute. Yeah. So what was there in the line? The train is climbing steadily up Beatalk Hill, and I told you that we have to just consider it as same as of human beings' life. That there are some tough situations that come in your life, where you need to climb a little bit. You have to actually jump over the obstacles that come in your way. So even though the slope is against it, like even when there are lots of triffles, lots of tensions, lots of worries, when they exist, but still you actually make up your mind that I will have to just jump over the cliff, and I have to jump over the problems that I'm facing at the moment. So So that's the basic meaning of this particular line. So it passes through the landscape of the cotton grasses and the boulders, lots of cotton grasses, leaving of the trail of white steam behind it. Obviously, the white steam comes in the form of the steam coming out of the engine. So that engine gives like steam goes back, you know, it goes like this. So the same thing happens here. It snorts noisily, snorts sound. It's related to the sound. I told you that noisily as it travels past miles of the grass is pent up by the wind. So pent by the wind because obviously when the steam goes up, the wind comes to this like and then it bends it. It bends it to the back. Okay, it bends it to the back. So that's why the steam's shape becomes like that. Okay, and the steam from the engine goes like that to the backside. Okay, just because the wind crashes with it. Okay, it travels past miles of the grass was spent by the wind. Okay, now the next one is the birds turn their heads as she approaches, stare from the bushes at her blank-faced coaches. Sheepdogs cannot turn her course; they slumber on with paws across. So, what is there? Like we can see, I'm sorry for the background noise. So the birds turn their heads as she approaches, stare from the bushes at her black faced coaches. Sheepdogs cannot turn her course. They slumber on the opposite course. So I think I have explained these lines also. So what is the basic meaning of the line? As the train approaches, the bird turns their head and stare at its blank-faced coaches from the bushes. From the bushes, that means I told you the comparison, like I told you something about like helplessness of the birds also, and the kind of situation that we have actually have put ourselves into. The birds, they represent nature. So and human beings, their act of actually using the train is also actually represent something like we are trying to distort the shape of the nature and trying to actually create a buzz around for the natural world of the nature. Okay, we are creating a buzz around for that, like when there is silence in the nature, that we are trying to actually distort the or destroy the peace of the nature by doing such activities like that we are actually um, dealing as a title of the poem. So even sheepdogs cannot change its course. Even the sheepdogs cannot change its course. They simply continue to sleep while their paws are crossed and their paws are crossed and they're sleeping. They can't do anything, so they're simply just numb and they're just watching it. Know what's going on. In the farm, she passes. No one wakes, but a jug in the bedroom gently shakes. Up to that one, I think we have read, and I'm going to explain that as well. So, as a train passes a farm, no one wakes up except for a jug in the bedroom. Okay. So that gently shakes, and dawn is beginning to break. So the dawn, that means the morning is going to come, and the train's climb is now complete, and then the climb of the train is now complete because it took some time and energy. The power and the strength of the engine actually worked and it came to the area where the position or what we say that the force will become less now. The train has to use less force to reach to some place. Now let's move further. Actually, up to that one we have already done. Let's move on. So dawn freshens, her climb is done. Down towards Glasgow she descends. Towards the steam tugs, yelping down a glade of cranes. Towards the field of apparatus, the furnaces, set up on the dark plain like gigantic chessmen. Um, all Scotland waits for her in the dark glen beside the pale green sea lodges. Men long for news. Okay. Now, basically, we got to know that what happens in the lines is the train descends from towards the Glasgow, the particular region in the Glasgow, passing by the steam tugs yelping down the glades of cranes and fields of the industrial equipment, such as the furnaces, lots of burning furnaces are there that are set out in the on the dark plain like gigantic chess pieces. Okay, and all of the Scotland is waiting for the night mail train to arrive. Basically, so how it will reach to the like Scotland, how it will reach to the Scotland, and how the people are waiting for the mail to come, for the messages to come, because those messages are valuable messages for all the people that who are waiting for it. You know, even the message is more important in this, like how the the message is going to be actually waited for, and the people are going to wait for that message, living at the different distant places, so in the Scotland. So that's the basic thing in this particular stanza. Now thereafter, the letters of thanks, what is there they are waiting for? What is there actually they are waiting for? The letter of thanks, the letter of from banks, the letter of joy for from girl and boy, uh, receipted bills and invitations to inspect new stock or to visit relations. So different occasions are summarized in few words. You can see that very beautifully. That is done by the W.H. Auden. Letters of thanks, letters from banks, letters of joy from the girl and boy, receipted bills and invitations to inspect new stock or to visit relations, and applications for situations, and timid lovers, declarations, and gossip from all the nations, news circumstantial, news financial, letters with holidays, snaps to enlargen, letters with faces scrawled on the margin, letters from uncles, cousins, and aunts, letters to Scotland from the south of France. Okay, so that's very beautiful. I think, you know, particular stanza of the poem. Let's repeat once more: letters of thanks and the letters from banks, the letters of joy from girl and the boy, receipted bills and the invitations to inspect new stock or to visit relation, and application for situations and timid lovers, declarations and the gossip and gossip from all the nations, news circumstantials, news financial, letters with the holidays, snaps to enlarge, and letters with faces scrawled on the margin, letters from uncles, cousins, and aunts, letters to Scotland from the south of France. So now you see, this is very beautiful one, and I think if I say in the dark lens and beside the pale green sea lotus, like that's from the previous lines, men are longing for the news. That is for the previous stanza's line. I'm sorry for that. So that's not there at the part of this. Okay. So uh, it starts from here. Like the mail the train is carrying, including the letters of thanks, that you have done something good for me, gratitude, happiness, or something like somebody's received something very important or something so precious. So that is why that's there in the letters. Letters from the banks, obviously, the bank used to send the letters to those like who opt for it and who actually go for the newsletter services, like in case they have to, receive something as an information related to the bank inquiry or the inquiry related to credit card, debit card, whatever cards they have, or even there are some facilities or what we say the benefits that the banks would provide, that would be given the form of the letters or any kind of like conciliation or any kind of like treaty if they would sign, or they are taking a loan or something, that information related to that would come in the form of the letters as far as the poem is concerned. The letters of joy from the boys and the girls, So they will receive the letters of joy, happiness from the boys and the girls. Like both will receive from the boys and the girls. They would be sending each other the letters as well. So we know that where it goes. The bills and the invitations like for the marriages, for the birthday parties, for different occasions. And the bills also like in the form of what we say. If somebody has organized a party, then the bills are to be paid, or the bills will come in the form like electricity bills, or what we say, the hydro or whatever bills that they will receive, that would come in the form of letters. So the job applications, obviously, if somebody has applied for the job and they will receive something in return as far as the letters are concerned, like to the different distant places, if you have applied, then they will get the letters in the form of anything, like in the paper form. Definitely, you will receive some letters. The declaration of love, you know, um, like it's kind of love letters or something. So declarations of love, as well as the gossip. Like there are some gossips also. So somebody who really wants to do some chit chat, or family members, we send some letters like I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm enjoying, I'm not enjoying, or something like that related to that, like would be sent in the form of the letters. And the news from all over the world, news from all over the world, not only the circumstantial news, but also the financial news, the letters for with the holiday snaps to enlarge in the pictures with some pictures, the letters that with the faces called on the margin, you know, like some faces are scrawled on the margin, on the edges of the letters, and then the letters from uncles and the cousins, other different kind of people, they will send the letters to each other. The letters to Scotland from the south of France. So from the south of France, basically the letters would have started the journey to reach to Scotland. So I think this is it as far as the explanation of the poem is concerned, but what the basic meaning and the literary devices have already explained through that. Okay. And after half an hour, I'll come back again with the live session related to the like essay writing, what people have actually thought of, or what people have made it of. It's actually a fun of actually understanding the essay writing, simply telling the definition, simply knowing about the definition, and simply telling the people that, yeah, there are four paragraphs and you have to write like this or that. You know, showing it in the print form of the pictures is a different stuff. Explaining something is a different stuff. So when it comes to actually explaining it properly, um, it should not be like you're copying it from somewhere and you're just copy pasting it. And another thing that what I have noticed is like simply just reading it from the paper and just like transferring that into the form of the slides. That's not the thing. Something is actually being called as like teaching or learning process. So teaching can be done in a proper way, particularly when it comes to explaining every bit of thing. When you actually explain an essay writing, essay writing is a very beautiful and a fundamental phenomenon that everybody should do, um, or everyone should write about, uh, not on the level of the college students, not on the level of the professionals. Like if a child has to be taught essay writing, the child has to be given a certain sort of stimulus before, so that the child would be able to actually grasp the whole thing in bits, in small portions. Like you can't tell the child to nibble the whole baggage of chocolates at the same time. There are pieces. So definitely the pieces are to be taught in a beautiful way. We'll see that thing like somehow, but it's a very lengthy process, but it's a very beautiful process as well. It's not like one video or one 5 minute video is going to explain each and every bit of it. Okay. Another thing is research, 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 research. Keep on researching things about essay writing. You will be able to actually analyze. that yeah, it's a very beautiful process to understand essay writing. The way we are taught essay writing is totally actually futile somehow. During our time, there are some guidebooks, there are some textbooks which are being given to us, and we have to just memorize the essay and explain it in our own words, simply writing the same kind of language. But that essay used to have a structure which was not explained. That's what we are going to do in the next live session, after the end of the session. And I hope that um, this particular like poem must be clear to you. And if there would be any kind of questions related to that one, and I must tell you that in these stanzas also, that your work is now to find out the kind of literary devices that I mentioned before. So all those literary devices are there as well. Letters to the Scotland, and like in these stanzas also, you're gonna find some kind of literary devices. For example, down fractions and her climb is done. Her climb is done again. The personification is done. So you have to remember that one where I'm using a what kind of like literary devices. But basic literary devices I've already explained. Um, Next live session would be about essay writing. Tell your friends, tell your like all the other friends to join in for the session so that they may be also benefited by the same thing, so that they may also know that what's the difference between IELTS essay writing and the essay that you write in your scholastic form. Okay, there is some difference. I told my students many a times, I've taught my students many a times about the difference between both of the kind of essays. You know, little bit of difference is there, but the whole general phenomena is the same. But I am not going to retreat about any definition regarding essay. I'm not going to talk about the parts simply. Okay, I'm going to explain those parts bit by bit. And I'll tell you through the essay one example that how to write an essay. That's not like something that will come in your mind, or it will stay in your brain for a long time. It will have to be practiced. After that one, after knowing it through that live session, I would recommend you that you write at least a small essay every now and then. And I don't discourage people to make the videos, but when you make the videos, try to think that one, that you're setting a level for the kids. So when you set a level for the kids about like writing an essay, is about this or that, you should know that the kids are of some kind of kids are of some level. You know, they are, if they are in fifth standard, sixth standard, they won't be able to understand. And even if they are in the ninth and the tenth standard, they will be able to understand only through the example. When you give example, when you will tell them this is historical statement, this is background statement, this is thesis statement, what exactly the thesis statement is, what exactly the transition statement is. If they won't be able to understand that, how would they know that what exactly? So I'm sorry for the call. I would be just going for a break, and then I'll make some tea, and then we'll restart our session. So till then, bye bye. Take care.